Okay, guys, so this section here is going to be chapter 8, section 3. It's a continuation of the lesson we did earlier, but now I'm going to show you how to solve this system of equations using what's called an inverse, okay? So here's my system of equations. So the first thing I want to do is I want to write this as a matrix. So just taking the coefficients would be 4, -9, 6, 5, 8, -2, 1, 3, 4, right? So just making sure I get it right. Okay, so now here's my system. My answer is on the right hand side over here: 48, 13, and 45. So we have solved this before, but in different ways. So I'm going to show you how to do is use what's called inverses, okay? So um, first, I'm going to take this, for example, here's A, okay? So ignore this for a second. Don't worry about this, okay? I'm going to try to find the inverse of this matrix right here. So the inverse, okay? In order to find the inverse, first you have to find determinant of A. So determinant is 4, -9, 6, 5, 8, -2, 1, 3, 4. You remember how to find the determinant, right? So determinant, remember how to do that? Copy the first two columns, 4, 5, 1, -9, 8, and 3. Okay? So to find the determinant, you remember, multiply those guys. Okay? 4, 8, and 4. So when you multiply 4, 8, and 4, you multiply that, okay? 32 times 4 here, 128. Going down again, you get -9, -2, 1, that's 18. And going down one more time, I get 90, okay? So when I add these together, okay, so 128 plus 108 is looking at 236. Okay, now let's go up. Now to go up, I'm going to multiply these guys together. 48 going up, I get here negative, right? I'm going to add, okay, I'm going to add -24. And then again, right here, I'm going to add -180. So my grand total here is, let's see here, 24, so -156. Okay, so now my determinant is 236. 236 minus -156. So determinant of A is equal to 392. Okay, so that's very important. Now to find the inverse, I put 1 over 392, and then I go through the process of finding the determinant. Okay, if you remember how to do that, okay, determinant first. Now I'm gonna find the inverse. Okay, so in order to do that, remember, you take 4, -9, 6, 5, 8, -2, 1, 3, 4, right? This is your matrix. So if you want to find the inverse, the first thing you do is find the determinant, which we did. Now take the first element 4, cover up the row and column. Okay, what's the determinant of the leftovers? Okay, so here you multiply, right? 32 minus -6. Okay, so my first answer is going to be 38. Okay, I did this mentally. Okay, so that's my first one. So now my second number is -9. Second element, they call that. Cover the row and column of -9, like this. Okay, so I'm looking at 20 minus negative 2. So I'm looking at 22. Okay, so now moving on to my third element, the 6. Cover up the row and column of 6. Okay, when I multiply that and find the determinant, I get 15 minus 8. So that looks like 7. Okay, like that. All right, moving on. My fourth element is the 5. Cover the row and column of 5 like this. Okay, I get negative 36 minus going up 18. So looks like negative, yes, negative 54. Okay, my next row and column is 8. I'm going to cover the row and column of 8 like this. Okay, so I get 16 minus 6. I'm looking at 10. Okay, next element is negative 2. Cover up the row and column of negative 2 like that. I get 12 minus negative 9. Okay, 12 minus negative 9, 21. Okay, now let's move on to the next element. 1. Cover up the row and column. Okay, I'm going to get 18 minus 48. 18 minus 48. I'm looking at negative 30. Okay, negative 30. Okay, next is 3. Cover row and column of 3. I get negative 8. Negative 8 minus 30. Negative 38. Okay. Now, last one. Last one's that 4. So cover row and column of 4. There you go. 32 minus negative 45. Okay. So it looks like 77. All right. Now, remember rule, let's see, rule 3. Rule 3 says take the row and stand it up. So the inverse is 1 over 392. Okay, take this row here, row 1. I'm going to make it stand up and down. So 38, 22, 7. Row 2 now, row 2, second row. Negative 54, 10, 21. Last row right there. Negative 30, negative 38, 77. Okay, so we took the rows and we made it up and down, standing. So now we only have one more thing to do, and I have my inverse. So 1 over 392. Okay, now change the sign of the diamond shape. Okay, the diamond shape is the second element, the 4th, the 6th, and the 8th. So change this diamond shape, okay? I call it a diamond shape because it looks like the baseball diamond, okay? So change the signs of these 4 numbers and don't change anything else, okay? 38 stays the same. Okay, so negative 54 becomes 54. Negative 30 stays the same. This is 22. Now it's going to convert to be negative 22. 10 stays. Negative 38 becomes positive 38. And then 7 stays the same. Negative 21 and 77. I am done with the inverse, okay? This is officially called the inverse. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to solve this equation now using this guy, okay? So if you remember this matrix up there, okay, this basically, what we're doing is we have the original problem was 4, negative 9, 6, 5, 8, negative 2, 1, 3, 4. This is my original A. And these are numbers that were multiplied with X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. Okay? When I multiplied X, Y, and Z, I got the answers 48, 13, and 45. Right? So imagine this as, like, for example, A times an x equals b. Okay, in basic math, right? Basic math, for example, 3x equals 12. Okay, if you want to solve this, there's a couple ways, but one method is called defining the inverse of 3. The inverse of 3 is 1/3. I'm going to multiply 1/3 in the front. I'm going to multiply 1/3 in the front. Okay, 1/3 and 3, they're called inverses of each other. So when I do that, this goes away, I get x. Now I just compute this guy, right? This automatically goes away. I just get x alone, and I get 4, okay? This is a really simple explanation of what we did long time ago, okay? But this is not anything to do with our problem, but just an oversimplification of what we're gonna do. So here we're gonna find, here's my original, like this, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply the inverse here and inverse in the front right there, okay? So these two, because they're inverses, they're gonna become 1. They're basically just gonna cancel. And so my answer, xyz, is gonna be a negative 1, or inverse, times b. I'm gonna take the inverse times my b value, which is this guy, 48, okay, 13 and 45. So xyz will equal that, right? xyz will equal the inverse times the answers on the right hand side. So x, y, and z will equal the inverse, which I found earlier was 1/392, 38, 54, negative 30, and negative 22, 10, and 38. 7, negative 21, and 77. So let's just make sure they're correct. Okay, they are. So now I'm going to take these guys and I multiply with the answer column. Okay, 48, 13, 45. Now it's very important that you put the inverse in the front. Okay, if you put it in back, it can't multiply. It has to be in front. So if you remember how to multiply, take the first row, stand it up. 38, 54, negative 30. Okay, so now multiply these and add. So multiplying, okay, if you remember, I have 38 times 48. Okay, this is going to give me 1,824. And I'm going to add a 54 times 13. Okay, so this is going to give me 702. Okay, and then negative 30 times 45. Okay, so it looks like negative 1,350. Okay, adding these together, I need to add these. Okay, so I'm gonna get here 1,176. But remember this guy in front, okay? I have to divide by 392. Okay, so when I do that, I'm gonna get, okay, so when I added these, I get 1,176 divided by 392. So that means x, okay, x equals 3. Very simple, right? Now I just do it again for the second row. Okay, negative 22, 10, and 38. Okay, I'll multiply with the 48, 13, and 45. Okay, again, multiply here, multiply and add. Okay, so I'm gonna get here negative 1,056. 130. Okay, and then 38 times 45. Okay, 1,710. Okay, again, add all of these together. Okay. Okay, you get 784. Okay, but remember there's a determinant in front, so you got to divide this by 392. So that means y equals 84 divided by 392, y equals 2. Okay, now last row, stand it up. 7, negative 21, 77. I'm going to multiply with 48, 13, 45. Okay, now multiply and add. Okay, so 48 times 7, I'm looking at 336. Okay, negative 21, I'm going to multiply by 13. Okay, I get negative 273. And then big number, 77 times 45. I get here 3,465. Okay, the grand total of adding all these, okay, is gonna be 3,528. Remember to divide by the determinant in here, 392. So 3,528 divided by 392 will give you a z value. Okay, so divide by 392, my z is 9. So that tells me my answer 329. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully you're okay with that. Okay, have fun doing those and try it on your own. See if you can do that. Okay, have fun. Bye-bye.